Hello, my name is Julie, and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. You are watching another episode of Simply Saturday, where I get to show you a card that is fast and easy to make. Today we'll be making a slimline card, and simply from the larger size of a slimline card, you might think that it could not qualify as a Simply Saturday project, but you're going to see that the way we put this together is so quick and easy that even though it's a larger size card, it definitely still qualifies. I'm going to show you the dimensions and talk about that, but first let me mention that it is January of 2023. Celebration is on. Celebration is our yearly promotion where you get rewarded. So with a $50 product purchase, there are a number of items you can select from this brochure for free. And then there is also a $100 level, and there are a couple of free gifts for your $100 level purchase. Today, we will be using the Adorable Owls, which is a free gift with a $50 product purchase. And we are also using Dandy Designs. This 12 by 12 super pack of paper is fantastic. I'm totally in love with it. It is a super pack. There are 48 sheets of 12 by 12 in here. So there are many colors, many designs, and this is already creating a lot of fun, beautiful, and cute projects. So if you don't already have a demonstrator that you order through or that you take all your questions and concerns to, I would love to be that for you. There will be information about how to contact me in the description box below this video. All right, let's jump in and get started. You're going to need, well, I started my project by choosing my envelope. So as I said, we're doing a slimline card. So we do have slimline envelopes in the annual catalog, page 137. They're pictured here. They actually come in a package of 3 different colors. So I've chosen the white one, and based on the size of envelope, that helped me to determine the size of the card. So I started with the envelope and adjusted all of my pieces so that the card would slide easily into that envelope. I started with a Granny Apple Green card base. This piece measures 8 5/8 by 7 1/4 inches, and then it's scored and folded down the center of that 7 1/4 inch side, so your score and fold is at 3 5/8. That's the card base. Then I have a cardstock layer of Coastal Cabana. This piece measures 3 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. Now I used that same measurement for the white panel that I'm going to put on the inside of my card. Now, the Granny Apple Green is light enough that if you just decide to stamp and write a message on the inside, you certainly can. I do like a bright white panel on the inside, so that's what I'll be using. Again, 3 1/4 inches by 8 1/4. Then I have a piece of that Dandy Designs DSP. This layer measures 3 inches by 8 inches. And I wanted to mention that you're also going to use the scrap. So when you put your 12 by 12 piece into your cutter and you slide this over to the 3-inch measure and you cut it at your 3, and then you cut it at your 8, you're going to have an extra chunk of paper left over since it's a 12-inch piece. That is this piece, and we're going to use that. All right, so when you cut that 12-inch length into your 8-inch length, hang on to this. Don't get rid of it. You could certainly use a white piece instead for this part, but I really like what I did on this, and I think you will too. So hang on to that scrap. Then I do have 2 squares that I die cut. I had to use the Stitched Shapes retired dies. I am still waiting for the Stylish Shapes to come back into stock so that I can purchase those and show them. But many of you have Stitched Shapes, so the large square from that will work. If you don't want to do a die cut square or you don't have a die, then you can simply cut a square that is about 2 1/8 inches. If you don't like doing eighths, do 2 1/4 square. So you'll need 2 of those. All right. And then I grabbed my Stitched Rectangles dies, which are currently available. The Stitched Rectangle dies, this is what I used to cut out a piece of this. So I did my die cutting ahead of time, and here is that piece. All right, so that's what I suggest on this fast and easy card, is that you do your die cutting or your paper trimming if you're not die cutting these and you're just cutting them, and get all these pieces ready to go, and the rest is super fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do, oh, and here's the secret. I'm going to finish this card, the Simply Saturday version, so it's fast and easy. And then if you want to stay tuned for the very end of this video, I'm going to show you the same card but elevated. So if you wanted to take the Simply Saturday version, the fast and easy, and just stick around at your stamp desk for an extra 10 or 15 minutes, you could elevate it and make it the other way. So I'm going to show you that at the very end. All right, let's remove our little Post-its and start attaching our papers. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is attach the Coastal Cabana layer to my card base, and I'll be using liquid glue to do that. Whatever your favorite adhesive is to use for basic paper adhesion, you can choose that. All right, it's fun. I haven't done a slimline card in a little while. And I will also let you know that our slimline card is going to go vertically. Most of the time, the slimline cards that I have seen and even have made go horizontal like this. Our card is going to go like this. We're going to take advantage of all that tall space. Okay, so there's that layer. Then I'm going to attach the DSP layer, also with my liquid glue. When you're using liquid glue, especially if you're new to paper crafting, a little goes a long way. So you can see I just put a light squiggle kind of all around. You don't want to over apply your glue, or a couple things can happen. One is your paper could look lumpy. Secondly, it might ooze out the edges when you go to attach it to another piece, and you don't want that. It might get all over your fingers. It might ooze out onto your card and leave sticky areas where you don't want it to be sticky. So a little goes a long way. Use liquid glue sparingly. Okay, there's that layer. We will do some stamping on the inside layer, so let's do all of our stamping at this point. All right, for our quick and easy version, we're going to use Coastal Cabana ink and also the owl. There are 3 different owl images in the Adorable Owls. I needed to get this one cleaned off. Okay. And so I'm using the one that kind of looks like he's in flight. All right, let me get my chamois there where I can reach it too. Okay, so I've chosen this one. He kind of looks like he's in flight, and I will stamp one of those in Coastal Cabana. This is going on one of my 2 squares. It fits nicely on that stitched shape square, or if you just cut a square 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, just a square. All right, there is my Coastal Cabana. And then I'm going to clean the ink off of my owl and ink it this time with Granny Apple Green. The colors that I selected are simply from the packet of papers. I'm going to just bring that in. I've got mine saved in a wonderful little plastic sleeve that holds them all, so it's hard to see them in here, but I'm just going to show you on the back. It tells you what all of the colors are. That's how I selected the colors of ink, just coordinating with the colors that are already in the paper. Okay, so this time Granny Apple Green and owl number 2 on the second square. All right. I don't know how well this picks up sound, my microphone, but my little Yorkie is snoring in the background. So if you hear that, it's not my husband or me, it's my dog. All right, we have our squares. These are going to get attached to the front of the card. Super cute, like so. We are going to stamp on this piece of designer series paper, which is also a thing that we don't do regularly. Typically you would take a white piece and do your stamping, but this is really neat looking and I wanted to bring it to your attention. So I'll use Coastal Cabana ink and the Hoot Hoot You're So Cute. and stamp on that little rectangle that I die cut. And it's kind of a lighter color, the paper itself, and so I think this Coastal Cabana will stand out enough. There we go. Isn't that fun, stamping on the pattern paper? Okay, we're going to put this together and do a little bit of embellishing, and we need to stamp the inside. On the inside, I will stamp "It's Your Day" back to our Granny Apple Green, like so. Okay, so before I embellish, let's go ahead and put this on the inside. And then we'll do the final steps on the front of the card. Oh, we have to attach all of that. Okay. I set it there, but we didn't attach it yet. So again, using my liquid glue and eyeballing my borders to get it as straight as I can without actually measuring and making pencil marks. All right, there's the inside panel. Now let's attach our owls. I think I want the darker one up here, and then, so the Coastal Cabana one at the top. No rules here, whatever feels right to you. And I'm going to put it at a little angle. And then the Granny Apple Green one. So by stamping the owls in colors that coordinate with our paper, this eliminates the need to color them in. They just look whimsical, they have the right colors going on, and that's what made this a quick and easy card. The one that I'm going to show you at the end, the owls are colored, so that's where the extra time comes in. All right, a couple of mini dimensionals, since those are here on the desktop and handy, so I'll use 4 of those. If you want to use regular size dimensionals, probably 2 or maybe 1 in the middle, so 2 or 3 would be fine. But these minis, I'm going to go ahead and use 1 in each corner. Okay, so we'll attach this. This is so far, the only layer that is popped up a little bit. Everything else is nice and flat. And then at this point, I'm going to show you the finished card with a bow. And when you stay tuned for the elevated card, I'll show you what I did with the twine on that one. So actually I'm doubling this, so it's a little bit thicker, and I'm going to create my bow out of that double layer and even it up a little bit. I kind of want it small, like so. Trim that loop, and I think these ends are going to be a little bit long, so I'll trim those as well. Okay, I'll attach this with a glue dot. Glue dots hold your ribbon type embellishments. They hold well, and they're also fast. I'm just going to stick the back of the bow onto the dot. Peel it off. Oh, I kind of pulled my loop a little while I was doing that. Trying to work a little too fast. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here at the corner, but not on that piece. It looked a little crowded on it, so there it is at the corner. And let's put some embellishments. Now I'm going to show you one selection right now, and then I'll show you a different option at the end. So these are the matte decorative dots. They do come in the current in colors, the 2022 to 2024. So they're not exactly the same as the colors here, but as you can see, the Tahitian Tide looks just fine with Coastal Cabana, and the Parakeet Party looks great with the Granny Apple Green. So you really can't go wrong. So I'm going to choose a green one. I want one of these. Let's go this size. A green one on the Coastal Cabana owl, and a blue one. I think I'll use a larger one since it's the middle. I think it can handle it. On this square, And I think I'll go green on this one also. So by adding these dots, you are adding a little bit of thickness to the card. So keep that in mind if that's a concern for you. I do think I'll go in the corner on this one. When you're thinking about mailing, I honestly have never had a problem sticking an embellished card into an envelope and mailing it. Now, maybe I don't make mine as heavily embellished, I'm not sure, but I do hear people talk about cards, you know, being careful about the cards that you embellish if you're going to be mailing them. So I figured I should say that too. How funny is that? Okay, so I'm just doing a variety of the blue and the green now to fill these in and add some color. I'll use a total of 5. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one I'm actually not counting. I kind of want to put one more down here. So let's put one more blue one down there. That one's there though. Yeah, I think I will. I'm just going to go here. All right. You can choose when you put your dots on how many and where you place them. And there we have our Simply Saturday card. All right. Very fast. I've been filming for only 16 minutes. And a lot of that was explanation up front. So you can see that you can make this card in just a few minutes. So now stay tuned for just a moment. Let me move this out of the way. I'll bring in the other card that I'm calling my elevated version, and I'll just talk you through it. So on this one, you can see it is identical in how it was put together, but I did stamp my 2 owls in Memento black ink. Then I colored them. On this owl, I used crumb cake, and I used the dark, and then I just put a tiny bit of crumb cake light around the face. I wanted to leave this owl's face white, but I also didn't want to look like I had forgotten to color it. So just by adding a hint of color does make it look finished. Then I've got Bermuda Bay Stampin' Blend because there is no Coastal Cabana Stampin' Blends. So I used Bermuda Bay, I used crumb cake, and I used Daffodil Delight for the beak. And you can see, I mean, the eyes, the tummy, and the feet are all the same color. It just works. It doesn't have to be the same colors of nature. For this one, I did crumb cake and I did the beak in Daffodil Delight, and then I used Granny Apple Green. So there's our colors. I did use the light and the dark in my crumb cake. So the face is light, the rest is dark. Then I have some retired embellishments. These, you might have them too. These were called glitter dots, and they came in a couple of different colors, I think spread out maybe over a different calendar or 2. So I had these that I thought were perfect and glittery and beautiful. So I added those as my embellishments. And then down here, instead of a bow, I did a messy knot. So I took my twine and had 4 lengths of it, tied it in a knot, and stuck it on with a glue dot. Last but not least, I decorated the inside of the card one step further. I just used my Stampin' Blends, and I made a dash and dot outline all around that white panel. I felt like it was a lot of white space with just the one little stamp, so if you have time, you might want to decorate the inside panel as I've done. Now, let me show you that it slides very nicely into the slimline envelope, so you won't have a problem with those measurements. There you have it. And I stamped a little owl on the front just as a peek of what is to come. Someone gets the envelope and says, oh, look how cute that owl. And then when they open it and they see what you've created with the owls, they will be amazed. That's our project for today. As I mentioned, I'll put a lot of information in the description below this video, so you can open up that box by clicking on the word more. And if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to subscribe. That really does help me. Your support means a lot to me. And when you subscribe, make sure that you click the notification bell so that every time that I upload a new video to YouTube, you will get a notification. I really enjoy bringing these projects to you. I love your feedback and your comments, so do leave something for me if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, happy stamping.